They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start another edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours. Since the last opportunity, we had to spend a little time with you some 24 hours ago. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, particularly for my fellow Capital Region residents who went through the flooding episode not so very long ago. As most of you are well aware, many rivers, tributaries, reservoirs still holding a lot of water. And unfortunately, the forecast for the near future does not bode any better for that particular situation. Today, in the Capital Region, scattered to possibly numerous showers and storms are expected, mainly this afternoon and evening. These storms could well be very slow moving and will have the potential to produce downpours, gusty winds, and lightning. I guess if there is any, pardon the pun, silver lining in this cloud, is that not all areas will see rain. The probability, chance / coverage is around 60 to 70%. For tomorrow, scattered to possibly numerous showers and storms, with the coverage range varying from 50 to 60%. For the weekend, showers and storms will be around at times this weekend. Coverage area 40 to 50% on Saturday, before ramping up to about 70% on Sunday. Next week, rain chances continue all the way through the middle of the week. So if you are one of those individuals that's been dealing with the flooding issue, be advised that things could, and I stress, could get worse before they get better. It is not our first rodeo in this regard, and unfortunately, it appears as we speak that this is not going to end anytime in the very near future. So Obviously, if you are one of those whose business, residence, or some combination thereof is on the verge of being affected, now might be a good time to go ahead and take whatever proactive steps you need to take, whether that's sandbags or whatever it is that it encompasses. Now would be the time for you to do that. The last thing we want is to add additional names for individuals to the list of some, at last I checked, some 2,700 homes that have been affected in that regard. Speaking of Louisiana news, we may well be at the point now where we are hopefully starting to potentially witness the end of the Title IX scandal. It is something that rocked education/athletic programs at our state's flagship university. State lawmakers in both the House and Senate have now agreed to stricter rules to deal with the Title IX situation. Yesterday, the Senate voted 36-0 to pass on to Governor John Bel Edwards a bill brought forth by Beth Mizell, a Franklinton representative, that voted to send this on to the governor. The governor, by the way, is in support of this legislation and is expected to sign it into law. The proposals aim to close loopholes around previous college campus safety laws that had passed in recent years. The new bills would require colleges to fire employees that don't report sexual misconduct, harassment, and abuse allegations that are covered under federal Title IX laws. It would also have universities fire individuals that knowingly make false reports in that regard. These measures would also add new training requirements to detail when employees must report complaints or incidents that they witness. It would also ban retaliation against people that report incidents. It would also limit their liability from lawsuits. Finally, it would also require detailed reports to be published online from campuses about how they handle Title IX complaints. It is something that I think all of us, whether we are conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat, whatever, I think we can all agree it's something we allowed to get to a point that never should have happened. At the end of the day, college students, like any other member of society, should be afforded the right to get an education without having some individual or individuals attempt to use that experience for their own sexual gratification. It is reprehensible at the very least. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, you give legislators and the powers that be the benefit of the doubt that prior to these incidents, they all gave administrators and people in positions of power the benefit of the doubt that they would always, quote, do the right thing. Well, we all know now that that is not the case. And, you know, speaking quite frankly, y'all, this is not a problem unique to Louisiana State University. You can probably go to every state in the union back over the last 20, 30, 40 years and find situations just like this at places other than Louisiana State University. But at the end of the day, this is our state's flagship university. At the end of the day, most of the young people attending Louisiana's flagship university, the majority of them are Louisiana children, young adults, I should say. So if we're not going to do it for them, who are we going to do it for? It is a stain, a black eye, a blot, whatever you want to term it as. But at the end of the day, as my late father used to instill within his children, it's not whether or not you get a black eye. It's not whether or not you get knocked down. It's what you do in the aftermath of that that determines the nature of the individual. Tip of the hat to Beth Mizell and the others who forwarded this legislation to protect our young people. Hopefully, and y'all know I'm not a betting man. Y'all already know this. So I'm not going to take odds on the stupidity of some people. I would like to hope that this is a very clear, strong message being sent that we're not going to tolerate this any longer. And of course, you know, for reasonable, sensible, thinking people, that would be enough. But the human experience is such that there will always be somebody that thinks they're smarter than everybody else. There will always be an individual out there that is of the opinion, I won't get caught. Well, now that these stronger measures are in place, let's just all hope that if in the future someone decides to go down that same path, they will be dealt with severely and accordingly. Let's just hope. We have our first break of today's show, Breathing Down Our Necks. When we come back, I am going to do a favor for a large swath of my fellow Americans who happen to reside on the opposite side of the political aisle. Now, if you are just flipping through the channels and you see a black guy from Louisiana on TV talking about he's going to do a favor for his fellow Americans on the other side of the political aisle, don't make the mistake of thinking I'm talking about conservatives. No, I'm going to do a big favor for my fellow Americans who happen to be Democrats, other side of the aisle. It is something that is disturbing in that it reveals a pattern. Not that the pattern wasn't already there, because this individual has shown on more than one occasion a propensity to make racist statements. And as we are fond of saying in Louisiana, bless his little old heart, maybe he doesn't realize what he's doing, what it sounds like, what it appears to people of color, particularly since this individual is a staunch defender of doing away with racism. It'll be interesting, but you got to stick around for it after the first break of today's Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
The first big sale of the year is here. The Dream Garage Spring Event is underway at Team Honda. For the first time ever, get $12.50 customer cash on every new 21 Passport, or get 0% for 60 months on every new 21 Pilot at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, one of the things that I love about Louisiana is all the different idiosyncrasies that go along with living in this culture. For example, you guys and girls know full well, in Louisiana, you can say anything about anybody as long as you either begin or end it with, bless their little old hearts. They just don't know any better. Bless their little old heart. That's one of the things that is native to Louisiana. But that will only take you so far when you start to see a pattern. You will say, bless his little old heart, he, whatever, fill in the blank. But after the third or fourth time, you recognize the pattern. You come to the realization, this is not about bless his little old heart. This boy just can't help himself. In the wake of this recent focus, obsession, if you will, by the left on racism, you would think of all the people out there, they would be much more in tune to avoiding the appearance of racism than anybody else. I mean, after all, we are talking about a group of people, Democrats / liberals / progressives, that can spot racism 200 miles away. These are the people that will tell you we are the ones that can fix racism. And yet, they are also the ones that if you listen and read between the lines, as well as watch them, you find out they make the most racist statements of anybody out there. Enter the leader of the free world, President Joe Biden, speaking this week at the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa race massacre. The President of the United States, in announcing a new initiative to help black entrepreneurs, said the following, quote, "The data shows young black entrepreneurs are just as capable of succeeding, given the chance, as white entrepreneurs are." Then he just couldn't resist. Foot and mouth disease. The quote continues, "But they don't have lawyers, they don't have accountants, but they have great ideas." The quote continues, "Does anyone doubt this whole nation would be better off from the investments those people make?" You can't make this stuff up. Can you imagine if Donald Trump had said, black people have great ideas, entrepreneurs, but they don't have attorneys, they don't have accountants, and we would all be better off from the investments those people make? Now, you might be tempted to say, well, Clarence, bless his little old heart, he didn't realize what he was saying. He didn't mean it that way. But there's a problem here. There is a very clear and distinct pattern of how Joe Biden and apparently Democrats, because remember, Joe told us adamantly, "I am the Democrat Party." Remember that statement? Apparently, Joe Biden and Democrats are of the opinion that black folks in this country need or deserve to be talked down to. Let's start with this one. Democrats, black folks can't get IDs to vote. Every other ethnic group in this country, Latinos, Asians, whites, they can all get IDs to vote. Every single poll out there will tell you minimum 65, 70% of black people, when you ask them, will tell you, yeah, you got to have an ID to vote, of course. How am I going to know you are who you say you are when you vote? Of course you need ID. But Democrats, and Joe will tell you, black folks can't get IDs. Now, he tells us, quote, they don't have lawyers. They don't have accountants, but they have great ideas. And of course, not so very long ago, Joe also told us, if you can't figure out whether to vote for me or to vote for Trump, you ain't black. So apparently, we need a 77-year-old white dude to tell black people how to be black. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, President Biden. I appreciate that. Am I the only one that sees a pattern here? Black folks can't get IDs, Black folks can't get attorneys, can't get accountants, but we got great ideas. And black folk don't know how to be black unless the government tells them how to. At some point, you can no longer say, bless his little old heart, he don't realize what he's saying. You know, in Louisiana, we try to give individuals wiggle room. We know what they said, what they did was totally stupid. But being the people-loving people that we are, we try to give them an out. Try to give them a way to, you know, on the sly realize, hey, bro, what you did was really screwed up. So we throw in, bless his little old heart. But when you do it over and over and over and over again, you're no longer afforded wiggle room. Just imagine, and the mainstream media, quiet as a church mouse. Imagine had Donald Trump or any other high-ranking Republican or conservative had said out loud to the media, well, black folks have great ideas, they can succeed just like white people, but they don't have attorneys. They don't have accountants. But I'm going to help them. And then goes on to say, just imagine how better off we would be if we had the investments, the good ideas from those people. That's rhetorical, by the way. We all know what the outcry would be. So now that we know black people can't get IDs, now that we know black people can't get attorneys and accountants, and now that we know that Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrats will come to the rescue to tell us how to be black, I guess we can all sleep a little easier tonight. Say what you will about Malcolm X, and there are a lot of things you could say. He was radical. He promoted violence. He was against the status quo. Say whatever you will about Malcolm. But you know, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. That's what the old folk taught us a long time ago. Pudding may look good, but the verdict is still out till you take the first bite. That's how that works. How many times have you gone in the kitchen and said, oh, baby, that looks delicious. And then you take that first bite. And you're like, never mind. Say what you will about Malcolm. But it occurred to me last night after going over the president's statements. Malcolm X famously said, the greatest enemy to the United States of America and the greatest enemy to the black man in America is the white liberal. Now, if you doubt the authenticity of Malcolm's statement, here's an exercise for you to consider. Go back and look at the 50 years, actually it's closer to 60 now, since Malcolm made that statement, and look at what has happened to the black community in America. Look at what has happened to the black community in America, particularly in cities run by white liberals, since he made that statement. And then you tell me whether Malcolm lied or not. That's your homework for the weekend. Bottom of the hour break. We'll get her done. Come back and talk more right here on the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. There is an old adage that, and I'll paraphrase it here, says, if you're not careful, longevity has certain pitfalls, among which is sticking around long enough to go from being the hero to being a GOAT. And that's not the greatest of all time acronym, GOAT. No, it's the bad guy, GOAT. In the entire length and breadth of this pandemic, there has been an individual, Dr. Anthony Fauci, that has been held up as the go-to person for all things COVID-19. Well, again, stick around long enough in this existence and you will go from being the hero to being a GOAT. You know that Dr. Fauci was set to unveil a new book this week. And according to the description of the book that is entitled 10 Lessons in Truth, Service, and the Way Forward, in his words, the book description is as follows. World-renowned infectious disease specialist Anthony Fauci shares the lessons that have shaped his life philosophy, offering an intimate view of one of the world's greatest medical minds, as well as universal advice to live by. Speaking of old adages, one may think too highly of one's self, but I digress. If you've been paying attention and not getting your news strictly from the mainstream media, then you know about a series of hundreds of emails that were released this week under the Freedom of Information Act that has cast the credibility of Anthony Fauci right next to the restroom. The book, by the way, along with his credibility, yesterday abruptly disappeared from both Amazon and Barnes and Noble. They are no longer advertising the book, and they have deleted the pre-order option from their website. Not only are they not selling the book, they are not going to let you pre-order the book. All of this stems from emails that show what was taking place behind the scenes when Dr. Fauci was telling us one thing when the truth was actually something else. Now, for those of us that don't worship at the altar of the mainstream media, we were well aware of this a long time ago. But the mainstream media and Democrats made it a point to demonize us anytime we said anything that ran counter to the narrative. Anytime we suggested hydroxychloroquine, oh, those people with those conspiracy theories, they must be racist. Anytime we said, as conservatives, well, it says right there on the box that the masks are not effective for fighting a virus. Oh, y'all called us all kind of ugly names. You ignoring the science. Oh, them MAGA people, they don't believe in the science. Y'all know what you did. It was there as plain as day. ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, USA Today, NPR, the list goes on and on. Y'all called us all kind of stuff. And now we find out, those folks were actually on to something all along. Now listen, Anthony Fauci did not get where he is without being political. Let's just be honest about this. Everything, particularly in government, is political. If you don't know that by now, just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Speaking of old adages, there's one that says, if you're not a liberal at 20, you don't have a heart. If you're not a conservative at 40, you don't have a brain. You never heard that one, huh? If you're not a liberal at 20, you don't have a heart. We got to save the planet. Oh, we got to rescue the children. If you're not a conservative at 40, you don't have a brain. You have yet to realize, even after 40 years of existence on this planet, there will always be somebody that is after more power, after more money, and looking to take more of your freedoms and your liberties. Of course, now, if as a liberal at 20, you continue to worship at the altar of the mainstream media, it's kind of impossible for you to evolve into a conservative by the time you hit 40. Hopefully, there will be some people in your life that will steer you away from this. Sadly, with as much misery, havoc, and destruction that was heaped upon this country and its economy, sadly, we may never find out the real truth behind all of this. Now, that's what that is. I mean, none of us, particularly conservatives, are under the mistaken impression that there aren't people out there that will go to extraordinary lengths to hide their agenda and what they have perpetrated on this country in order to achieve it. We conservatives know full well it's for the rest of y'all to wake up and catch up. But when all is said and done, this is my sincere hope. If, God forbid, we find ourselves in this situation again, you who worship at the altar of the mainstream media and buy into any time a dissenting opinion is even whispered, it's demonized, if not canceled. Maybe you'll remember that next time and not be so quick to buy in to the narrative. Well, Clarence, you say next time as though you think it could happen again. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. You did notice this week, did you not, that the World Health Organization has announced that moving forward, they are no longer going to use a place of origin to identify a variant of COVID-19, which, by the way, is one of the stupidest moves I've ever heard of. But the World Health Organization is concerned about the stigma that comes along from a variant that was discovered in, Venezuela, being called the Venezuela variant. They are concerned about a variant of COVID-19 that was found in Brazil being called the Brazil variant. Quote, World Health Organization. Something about attaching the name China virus leads to a stigma against Chinese people, or so we're told. They also, the World Health Organization, tells us that using Brazilian variant, South African variant, or Indian variant contribute to not only placing a, quote, stigma on those people and nations, but it also leads to an uncountable number of hate crimes. Here's the question. And y'all know I'm not a betting man, okay? I don't believe in games of chance with my hard-earned money, but that's just me. If you decide that's what you want to do with your disposable income, I ain't mad at you. But how much would you like to bet that if a new variant comes up that originates in this country, would you like to place a wager on whether the World Health Organization would have no problem calling it the U.S. variant? Yeah, I didn't think I'd get many takers on that. Everything, y'all, is political. And when you don't understand this and govern yourselves accordingly, what ends up happening is you have people that feel they now have license to tell you what to think, how to think, and everything else in between. In case you don't know by now, there are folks out there that are seeking absolute, total control of your life from the womb to the tomb. Where you live, you like that one, Marty? Where you live, what you eat, what you drink, what you drive, what kind of electricity you use, where it comes from, everything. Of course, now, they can only do that if you're dumb enough to let it happen. Enter the American public. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
The selection is deep, and the time to get a used car is right now from the Team Automotive Group. Shop and save on over 125 certified vehicles and choose from more than 700 pre-owned vehicles at any of our team locations. Or log on anytime at teamautouse.com.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. We are, by the way, broadcasting live as we do every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from Bayou Smokehouse at 10655 Coursey Boulevard. It is the home of old school barbecue. And tonight, Joel Neely will be here providing live music for the audience here at Bayou Smokehouse. Oh, and speaking of Bayou Smokehouse, in case I forget later on in a crunch, my dear friend Bill Profita is up next here from Bayou Smokehouse with the Exiles. That's up next, so I would take it as a personal favor if you would stick around and enjoy his show as well. Some Louisiana sports news to cover. We all knew, and the rest of us that didn't know, were harboring real high hopes that new LSU women's basketball coach Kim Mulkey would be able to almost immediately come in and make an impact with that program. It was announced this week another Louisiana girl is coming home to our state and to play for our state's flagship university. Moon Ursin is formerly a player for Coach Mulkey at Baylor, who is now going to transfer to Louisiana State University. She is well known, it's going to take me a little while to get used to calling this young lady Moon, but that's her name, Moon Urson. So if you hear me say Ms. Urson, know that old Clarence just hadn't gotten used to calling her by the name Moon just yet. But I digress. She is very well known in Louisiana basketball circles. As a matter of fact, she is from Destrehan, Louisiana, and she is a 3-time Miss Louisiana, Miss Basketball Louisiana. She is also a member of the 2021 All Big 12 selection to the conference champion Lady Bears. Scored 777 points in the 4 years at Baylor and helped the Lady Bears to a record of 126 wins and, wait for it, 8 losses. She will be the second transfer from Baylor to come to LSU and play for Coach Mulkey. And you know, you got to imagine there is a young lady that's a center that has already transferred. Now you have Moon Urson, who's a guard, that is transferred. That's the nucleus to build around. I mean, can you imagine how many other young ladies out there see an opportunity now to get in not only on the ground floor, but to play for a championship caliber coach at a program that she loves dearly? It is adding more fuel to the fire of LSU lady basketball. And you know, let me be the first to say this. Having been blessed to do TV shows for 4 Hall of Fame coaches in my broadcast career, I understand what it takes to build a program. But I got to tell you, I have to caution myself repeatedly not to get too overjoyed about the potential for this program. It's hard. It really is, primarily because we've watched LSU athletic programs achieve the ultimate pinnacle. National championships in baseball, national championship in football, resurgence in the men's basketball program, nationally prominent golf program, the whole 9. #1 in the nation beach volleyball team. So it's only natural that we would want and hope desperately that the ladies' basketball team would achieve the same thing. At the end of the day, Kim Mulkey is probably the closest thing you will ever find to having a magic wand that she could wave and fix something lickety-split. She is probably the closest you will ever find. But I'm sure she will also be the first to tell you it's probably not going to happen overnight. This is certainly a major step in that regard. And hopefully it is yet another building block that we will have the opportunity to witness, and we will be so very fortunate to take part in watching it all unfold. Speaking of athletics here in Baton Rouge and the state of Louisiana, if you needed something, anything, to say, all right, John Bell Edwards has relaxed the COVID restrictions, we are starting to return to normal, but I still just don't quite get that feeling. Well, maybe this will do it for you. Tickets, as of yesterday, went on sale for the 48th annual Bayou Classic in New Orleans, Louisiana. Southern and Grambling will lock horns November 27th at 4 p.m., according to Ticketmaster. It is something that we were hoping was going to happen last year. And of course, with all the shuffling of COVID-19 and everything else in athletics, it went off, but of course, not in the Dome, instead at Independence Stadium in Shreveport. This, for some people, is probably the clearest indicator that maybe things are, in fact, starting to return to normal. Now listen, I will leave to you to decide whether or not that's a good thing. Not the classic, but the return to normalcy and this signaling that. I'll leave that to you to decide. Of course, it says a lot about our sports-obsessed society and what our priorities are. But that, my friends, is a different show for a different day. Tickets are now on sale, and it's going to be an interesting season. Brand new coach, because as you know, Dawson Odom's leaving the Jaguars, taking a job closer to home. Best of luck to you, by the way. Coach can't hold that against you. Tickets are also on sale for the Battle of the Bands. And hopefully it will end up being something that we will be able to officially, when it happens, say, all right, we're past this. We're moving on, and let the chips fall where they may. By the way, tonight, Joel Neely will be here at Bayou Smokehouse, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, the home of old school barbecue with free live music. So if you're looking for a place to get some really, really good food, meet some really good people, and, of course, enjoy some good music, 6 o'clock is the start time for Joel Neely here at Bayou Smokehouse. And, of course, I told you not so very long ago, up next here on the Pelican, it is my dear friend Bill Profita with The Exiles. So make it a point to stick around for that as well. My time's up, y'all, and I got to go. But this day, maybe more so than any other in recent memory, I give it to you. You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, he loves you, and I do too. Good news is, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care. God bless.